Before people follow your ideas, before they trust your decisions, before they believe in your vision, they hear your voice. Your voice enters the room before your body does. It announces who you are, even when you say nothing important. It reveals confidence in your insecurity, calm, or chaos. Think about it. A leader does not need to shout to be heard. They do not beg for attention. Their words feel grounded, like they come from someone who knows where they stand in the world. Leadership is not about position. It is about presence, and presence is built through how you talk. This audiobook is not about pretending to be powerful. It is about becoming someone whose words naturally carry weight. Let us begin that transformation. Chapter 1. Leaders speak with clarity because confusion is a form of weakness. When a leader speaks, the room should feel steadier, not heavier. People should not feel lost inside long explanations or half-finished thoughts. They should not walk away replaying the words in their head, wondering, what did they really mean? A leader's voice is meant to remove confusion, not create it. The moment clarity disappears, doubt quietly enters, and doubt is the enemy of trust. Clarity is not just a communication skill, it is an act of kindness. It tells the listener, your time matters, your attention matters. Clear words show respect for the listener's intelligence because a leader does not treat people like they need to be impressed or overwhelmed. They treat people like partners who deserve honesty, direction, and truth spoken plainly. Weak speakers often hide behind long sentences because they are afraid of commitment. They circle the idea again and again, adding words, adding explanations, adding noise, not to help the listener, but to protect themselves. They fear being wrong. They fear being questioned. They fear standing still on one clear point. Leaders do not carry that fear. A leader arrives at the point calmly, confidently, and without apology. There is no rush in their voice, no tension in their tone. Their words land softly but firmly like someone who knows exactly where they are standing. They do not need extra words to feel safe. Their certainty is quiet, and that is what makes it powerful. A true leader understands something deeply human. Unclear words create anxiety, and when people feel anxious, they stop trusting, not just the message, but the messenger. Confusion makes people feel small, uncertain, and disconnected. Clarity does the opposite. It makes people feel secure, and security is the foundation of trust. When you speak like a leader, your thoughts feel organized, not rushed by emotion or fear. Your message feels clean, free of unnecessary weight. Your intention is visible, almost tangible, because nothing is hiding behind your words. People can sense that you respect them enough to be direct. You do not speak to sound intelligent. You do not speak to prove your worth. You speak so others can understand, align, and move forward. Because leadership is not about sounding smart. It is about making things clear. And the truth is simple yet powerful. People cannot follow what they do not understand. But when they understand you clearly, they begin to trust you. And when they trust you, they are ready to follow. Chapter 2. Leaders speak slowly because they are not running from themselves. Speed is often fear wearing a mask. It looks like energy, but underneath, it is anxiety trying to escape. When someone speaks too fast, their words trip over each other, as if silence itself is dangerous. They rush, not because they have so much to say, but because they are afraid of what might happen if they stop. They fear the pause. They fear the quiet moment where eyes remain on them. They fear being judged in that space of silence, where no words are hiding them. And somewhere deep inside they fear that if they slow down, they might not be enough. Leaders do not carry that fear. A leader is not afraid of silence, because they understand its power. They know that silence is not emptiness, it is space. Space for words to breathe, space for meaning to settle, space for people to truly listen. Silence gives weight to what comes next. Without silence, words become noise. With silence, words become authority. A leader speaks slowly because they are at peace with their own thoughts. They are not running from themselves. They trust their voice enough to let it arrive without force. They trust the room enough to listen without being chased. Every pause is deliberate, every breath is steady, grounded, and controlled. Nothing is accidental, nothing is rushed. And when a leader speaks this way, something subtle happens. Time itself seems to slow down. The room becomes quieter. Attention sharpens. People lean in not because they are forced to, but because they want to. So speak slowly, not as a sign of doubt, but as a declaration of control. Not because you are unsure, but because you are certain enough to wait. Chapter 3. Leaders use simple words because true power does not need decoration. Complicated language often acts like a shield. It sounds intelligent on the surface, but underneath, it is usually hiding insecurity. When someone uses heavy words and complex sentences, they are often trying to protect themselves, to look important, to avoid being questioned, to feel superior. But true leaders do not need armor made of vocabulary. A leader has nothing to hide. They are not afraid of being understood clearly. They do not fear simplicity, because they know simplicity requires confidence. To speak plainly is to stand exposed, and only those who trust their own strength can do that. Leaders choose words that feel human, not mechanical. Words that sound like they come from lived experience, not from a textbook. Words that reach the heart before they reach the mind. They speak to people, not at them. Their language does not confuse, it connects. Simple words carry emotion because they are honest. They carry truth because they are not trying to decorate reality. A simple sentence can calm fear, ignite courage, or restore belief. Not because it is clever, but because it is real. A leader understands that the strongest messages are often the easiest to understand. Power does not live in complexity. Power lives in clarity, in sincerity, in words that land exactly where they are meant to. That is why a leader speaks in a way that reaches everyone in the room, not just the most educated minds in the front, not just the loud voices that dominate discussion, but even the quiet listener at the back, the one who rarely speaks yet listens deeply, because leadership is not about impressing a few people with intelligence. It is about connecting with many people through truth. Chapter 4. Leaders speak with confidence, not the need to prove themselves. Confidence does not enter a room shouting for attention. It does not announce itself loudly or demand to be noticed. True confidence is quieter than that. It pulls people in. You feel it before you fully understand it, like a calm gravity that draws attention without effort. A leader never raises their voice to feel important. Raising the voice is often a sign of needing control. Leaders choose the opposite path. They lower their voice, and in doing so, they make the room lean in. Soft strength is far more commanding than loud authority. Chapter 6. Leaders ask questions that open minds, not questions that close hearts. A leader does not speak to overpower a room or silence other voices. They do not talk to dominate or to prove that they are the smartest person present. They speak with a deeper purpose, to awaken thinking. Their words are meant to open minds, not close them. The questions a leader asks are never weapons. They are not sharp tools meant to expose, embarrass, or corner someone. Instead, they are invitations, gentle openings that say, "Think with me. Explore this with me." In those questions, people feel safe enough to be honest. Where others offer blame, a leader offers curiosity. Where others accuse, a leader seeks understanding. They know that fear shuts down intelligence, but curiosity unlocks it. When people are not afraid, they think clearly. And clear thinking is where solutions are born. A leader asks questions that make people feel seen, not threatened. Questions that acknowledge effort, not just results. Questions that transform mistakes into lessons rather than scars. Questions that turn problems into opportunities for growth, instead of reasons for shame. Because real leadership is not about always having the right answers. It is about creating the space where better answers can emerge. A leader guides people forward, not by standing above them, but by walking beside them, asking the right questions at the right time. Chapter 7. Leaders use stories because stories make them human. Facts may educate the mind, but stories speak directly to the heart. Facts tell people what happened, but stories help them feel why it mattered. Information can be forgotten, but emotion leaves a mark. That is why facts inform, but stories transform. When a leader shares a story, something powerful happens. The invisible wall between authority and humanity begins to fall. In that moment, the leader is no longer just a voice giving direction. They become a person with experience, scars, and lessons. Without saying it directly, the story whispers, "I've been there too. You're not alone." Stories carry struggle because leadership is never a straight path. They carry failure because growth is born from falling and rising again. They carry moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, and the strength it took to move forward anyway. In those honest moments, stories become mirrors, and inside those stories, people find courage. Courage to try again. Courage to speak up. Courage to believe that they too can grow beyond where they are now. A leader who tells stories does not stand above the audience, pointing down. They stand beside them, sharing the road they once walked. That shared ground creates connection, and in that connection, trust is born. Chapter 8. Leaders speak with purpose, not to fill the air. Leaders do not speak simply to fill the air. They are not unsettled by silence, nor do they rush to escape it. They understand that silence is not emptiness, it is space. Space to think, space to observe, space to choose words that truly matter. A leader speaks only when their words have weight, when they add clarity instead of noise, when they bring direction instead of distraction. Their voice is not constant, but when it is heard, it means something. Every sentence a leader speaks carries intention. There is purpose behind each word, even behind each pause. Their messages are not random thoughts spoken aloud. They are deliberate signals, guiding others forward. Before speaking, a leader quietly asks themselves, will this help? Will this guide? Will this strengthen the people who are listening? If the words do not serve a higher purpose, the leader chooses silence. Not because they are unsure, but because they are disciplined. They understand that unnecessary words weaken authority. Silence, when used wisely, becomes a form of leadership itself. It commands attention. It creates focus, and it reminds everyone in the room that when a leader finally speaks, their words are worth listening to. Chapter 9. Leaders adapt their voice without losing their soul. A true leader understands the moment they are standing in. They read the room not with their eyes alone, but with awareness and empathy. They sense what people need, not what their ego wants to say. Timing, tone, and intention come together in their voice. In moments of crisis, a leader becomes calm, not because they feel no fear, but because they know fear spreads quickly. Their steadiness becomes an anchor, something others can hold on to when everything feels uncertain. Their calm says, "We will get through this." In moments of celebration, a leader becomes grateful. They step out of the spotlight and allow appreciation to shine on others. Their voice softens with humility, acknowledging effort, sacrifice, and shared success. They understand that gratitude strengthens bonds more than authority ever could. In moments of conflict, a leader becomes firm, but never cruel. They stand their ground without raising their voice. They protect boundaries without damaging dignity. Respect remains intact, even when opinions clash. A leader does not wear one tone in every situation. They are not rigid or robotic. Yet, no matter the situation, they always sound authentic. There is no performance, no mask, only truth expressed wisely. They adjust their voice to the moment, but they never adjust their values to convenience. That ability, to remain flexible without losing integrity, is what separates leadership from control. That balance is mastery. Chapter 10. Leaders end with words that stay. A leader never allows their words to slowly disappear into silence. They understand that endings matter just as much as beginnings. When a leader finishes speaking, people should feel anchored, not empty. They should walk away with direction, with clarity, with something solid to hold on to when the moment passes. A leader's final words are chosen with care. They are not rushed, not careless, not thrown away. Those words are meant to stay. to echo in the listener's mind long after the voice has stopped. They do not drift or dissolve into the air. They land, firmly and deliberately. A leader knows that people may forget the details of what was said. They may forget numbers, plans, or exact phrases, but they will never forget how those words made them feel. Whether they felt confident or uncertain, inspired or discouraged, seen or ignored. That is why a leader ends with strength, not harshness but steadiness. They end with belief. Belief in the path forward, belief in the people listening, belief in what is possible, and above all, they end with hope. Because hope is what people carry with them when everything else fades. Final message. Your voice is your responsibility. You may not see it yet, but someone is already listening to you. Someone is waiting to be guided, inspired, calmed. Leadership does not begin with power. It begins with how you speak when you have none. Choose your words carefully. Carry them with purpose. Speak as someone worth following, because the moment you learn how to talk like a leader, you don't need to ask for respect. It comes to you.